Hey everybody, it's Jordan. I am back. I am here to tell you guys a life update. I'm trying to think of a new intro, so this one's gonna be like all over the place. I film all different types of videos, from like makeup videos to college videos and fashion and all that fun stuff. If you want to subscribe, the button is down below. It'd make me really happy if you subscribe because I am home for the summer now, and although I'll be working, I still plan on making a lot more videos, which I know like every single YouTuber says when they come back from a really long break from YouTube, but I'm actually gonna do my best to do that, especially because I have a lot of the GoPro videos to edit. Don't know how long that those are gonna take to edit. Hopefully it won't take too long. There's just a lot. Today's May 11th. Came back on May 5th from studying abroad in Florence, Italy with AIFS at Richmond University. So let me start from the beginning. I know in my last video that I filmed like actually in front of my camera, I said that week following up to me leaving for abroad, I was going to film videos on packing, but that didn't really happen only because I was so stressed out about packing and I didn't know exactly how to film everything, and I was still buying stuff and it was just a whole mess. I had the optional flight package with AIFS, which I highly recommend if you do travel with them wherever you go. Not everyone purchased a flight package, but if you did, we stopped in London for 2 days. That was different because London is 5 hours ahead of the East Coast, so I was quite exhausted, especially because I didn't even sleep on the plane. I've never been on a plane ride that was that long, and it was also pretty cold. It didn't snow, so that was plus. I think it was warmer, pretty good weather for London. And then after those 2 days, I took a plane from London to Rome. Rome was interesting. We stayed there for about 5 to 6 days and we had tours every single day. We went to the Colosseum, we went to other ruins, we just kind of went everywhere, and it was a bit warmer there, which was great. I think it was either around 60 degrees or a little bit above 60 degrees, which I was not expecting. Italy is 6 hours ahead, so that was like I was going ahead another hour. That was really when I was exhausted because I was just constantly taking naps. That was when culture shock hit me. Culture shock was not fun. For me, it lasted about a month. Everyone's different. Yours could last a few days, a few weeks, maybe it doesn't hit you at all, but I feel like it hits some people at least some point when they're abroad, student or not. I don't want to go into much detail about it because I already have a blog post about it. I will link that in the description box. After Rome, we took a bus from Rome to Florence, which was 4 to 6 hours if I remember, and it was just so nice to finally settle because I just really did not like living out of a suitcase for so many days. I was really excited to live in an apartment for the first time. I had 3 other roommates. We got a brand new apartment and it was just us 4 and then 4 other girls across from us, so we were the only 8 people living in the entire building. The other apartments in the building weren't finished yet. It was honestly like a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I chose an apartment rather than a homestay. I think if I had known the Italian language a little bit more, maybe I would have stayed in a homestay, but I really liked living in an apartment because I wanted to see what it was like if I had to live in one in the future. I got really, really lucky with mine because, like I said, it was brand new. Parts of it looked like 5-star like hotel, especially the bathroom. It was just a very nice apartment and I am grateful. And if you choose an apartment, it's random. You don't get to choose which apartment you want or where you want it. I lived 20 minutes from school, which was a bit of a struggle at first because we all have to walk to school unless you want to spend the money and get a bike. There were a lot of ways to get from my apartment to the school and back. By the end, I had a walking path that I really liked because I got to walk past the carousel that was in one of the piazzas. It was just really nice seeing like kids run around, live music at some points, and it was just a nice walk, and I did GoPro that. Alright, trips I went on. So after going to London and Rome and then settling in Florence, personally I did go on more trips than, you know, my friends back at home or school or like my family members or other people in the world. I didn't go on as many trips as the other students in my program, only because school for me always comes first. Having a learning disability, school has just always been really important to me, and I know that I need to buckle down. Not that we really had any homework, it was just that we all had research papers due in the month of March at the end, and I just really needed to focus on that. Mid-February, I went to Interlaken, Switzerland with Florence for fun. There are a lot of travel companies when you study abroad that will reach out to you, and you can go like them on Facebook. Florence for Fun was a really nice travel company to travel with. Everything seemed very organized. I also went on trips with Bus to Alps. I did the Greece island hopping. I did Springfest Munich, Germany, and I also did Split, Croatia with Bus to Alps. I'm not saying like Florence for Fun is like bad or anything. I just personally prefer Bus to Alps because I did 3 trips with them. I went on a few day trips. We went to a castle. I'll put the castle name, I just can't pronounce it, on the screen. And we had wine tasting, we had a tour of the castle. It wasn't like a huge castle, but the property was really pretty and nice. Then I went on a day trip to Pisa and Lucca in one day. Pisa, I feel like I had really high expectations for. I feel kind of dumb for not knowing this, but it's only because people don't really post it. I didn't know that there are other buildings around Pisa, and probably sound extremely stupid, but I really didn't know because all I see people capturing is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It was a little bit rainy. I was having troubles with my camera that day, so I didn't take the best pictures. Posing for the Leaning Tower of Pisa is actually a lot harder than you think. Can't stand on the grass, so you have to like hop over the little fenced area and stand on this like stone thing. I was literally shaking as I was trying to pose. I couldn't stop shaking as I was just trying to inch another way. Like, it was really difficult, and you're like kind of high on there too, so it was interesting, but I mean, I got good pictures, so it's fine. Lucca was totally not the best experience. It was downpouring. Everything was closed in Lucca. We don't really like to talk about that day. Went to Siena for a day. Cinque Terre, loved that. Oh my god, that was amazing, and I surprisingly did not go. I think it was the second city where all the famous photos you see on Google. That is the second city. I did not go to that city. Basically, you have to take a train or you can hike. Hiking I highly recommend. My 3 friends and I, we actually hiked from the 3rd city to the 4th city, which is a really long hike. 2 to 3 hours maybe, but it's totally worth it. I am not a hiking person whatsoever, but I really, really enjoyed that, and now I want to go on more hikes in the future. Also, at the halfway point on that hike, there is a lemonade shop, and they have the best lemonade I've ever tasted in my life. Ever. In our program, we had a trip that was included, and we went to Venice for 3 days, which was unreal. Like, did I even go there? I don't know. God, it was just like so beautiful, and we had pretty good weather. I wouldn't say it was hot, but I mean, people were wearing dresses and rompers and cardigans and all that stuff, so cannot swim in the water though, because they said to us, if you go head under, then you're screwed because that water is so infected. It's not even funny. Just don't fall in. Don't try to swim in it. You do be careful. They said that you would end up with some diseases, which, you know, no one wants to have. Then I went on spring break in Greece. We went to Athens, Santorini, and Corfu, all by bus and boat. It was one heck of a time traveling. Yeah, I've always really wanted to go to Greece, and that was just, once again, unreal. I feel like everywhere I went, even just going abroad, was unreal, because sometimes I feel like it was a total blur. And Springfest was really cool because I knew I probably wouldn't be able to make it to Oktoberfest. Springfest was really awesome just to kind of like chill out, wear little dreidels. I think that's how they're pronounced. People have different pronunciations. Yeah, Springfest was just a nice time to kind of like unwind from being in school just for a weekend. The beer steins were huge, literally bigger than my head. At Springfest there are only 2 beer tents. At Oktoberfest there are probably 10. A really cool experience. I had never imagined myself traveling to Germany. I am German, but I think what I liked most about Springfest, besides drinking the beer was really good, is just when you walk into Springfest, it's just a huge carnival. We have some carnivals where I live, but they're not as big. I don't know, I just kind of felt like I was in a movie. German foods, candies, rides, and I just really, really loved that environment. I just thought it was an awesome trip overall. It was kind of cold and it was raining, but overall, that was definitely like money well spent. Split Croatia, I think I had different expectations because not everywhere in Croatia, but in most parts there, or at least from what I know, kind of just looks like a beach, like the Bahamas. Split wasn't that warm, and I was expecting it to be really, really warm. I still think that Croatia was super beautiful, and I went whitewater rafting, which I didn't think I was going to. Just did like a lot of activities. All the trips that I went on, I'm so happy that I went on them. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like I learned more about them in person than I did from reading a book in my history classes, just because I was there literally staring at the Colosseum. I was on the grounds. There are different like levels and stuff, and am I really here? Like, am I really at this place that I saw a picture of in my textbook when I was in high school? Let's see, a brief rundown on my experience, my opinion on abroad. My experience, it was a roller coaster. Now that I've come back, and some people who I haven't seen in a while, they're like, oh, how's abroad? And I have a few different responses because I don't want to say like, oh, it was terrible, because it wasn't. It was just like the culture shock was probably the worst part of it. Life always has its ups and downs. So I went through culture shock, bad experience, but you gotta go through culture shock. After that, everything was getting a little bit better, but I was homesick pretty much every day. I really missed my boyfriend Kevin, my family, my friends from home and school. I had never, gone out of the country by myself. I never traveled by myself. I was one of the few people in the program who came from their school without any of their friends. I was alone. And that was really scary and difficult. I overcame it, and I did make friends. I didn't really go out that much. I turned 21 in January. I didn't really have 21st birthday bash as I was hoping to because it was a school night, and I had 9 a.m.s every single day from Monday through Thursday. There were other times where I'd like celebrated it. Just so used to partying with my boyfriend, and that's like a personal choice. I personally did not want to go to clubs. Like, I went to a few clubs, but it wasn't something that I felt like I really wanted to go to. We went to this bar that was close to my apartment called Lion's Fountain. That was probably like my favorite place to go to, just because everyone was there, everyone was having a good time, and there were most nights where I kind of just went back to my apartment only because there are some clubs that I really did not like. Classes, I took 5 classes. So I took painting in Florence 2. My painting class had everyone in it, but everyone was in like a different painting level. So my friend Victoria and I were in painting 2. We were the only 2 people in that class in painting 2, and then a lot of people were in painting 1, and then there are 2 people in painting 3. That class was one of my favorites. I feel like I am more skilled at painting, and I love that because now I feel like I can paint more than I thought I could. I took photography for the media. I think that was one of my favorite photography classes. We actually just went out in Florence to different areas. I remember one area we went to, and my photography professor said, okay, we're in a touristy area. You see a lot of tourists, and everyone's different. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take pictures. But you're not going to take the typical tourist pictures. You are going to take pictures of tourists. I think that was like one of my favorite field trips because I had so much fun just like capturing other tourists are doing about like, ooh, let me get in front of this landmark and this landmark. And it was just really funny. But I got some like pretty good pictures. There was a little girl with a cute little McDonald's balloon, and it was just making our hearts really happy. It was so cute. I just got more experience and skills from that class than I had with any other photography class, and I really loved that class. I took elementary Italian 1. Everyone had to take an Italian class. I am not that great at Italian, but I did learn some basic things. I took fashion marketing and retailing. That was another one of my favorite classes. My school doesn't offer anything that has to do with fashion, so I thought it was just a very different class to take, and it was very interesting, and I have a notebook full of notes about fashion, marketing, and retailing, everything you could ever want to know about that subject, and now I have it, and I want to like show other people, be like, hey, this is what I learned about Zara or Gap, or why Chanel named her perfume number 5. And then I took Sociology of Italian Soccer. Wouldn't say it was my favorite class. It wasn't a bad class. My professor, he really knew his stuff. I just personally did not like the class as much as I had hoped for. When I was going through culture shock, I didn't really know what to do. Everyone goes through culture shock. I knew that I just needed to do something. So during orientation, we were in this huge conference room, the entire program, all 130 to 150 of us. This was when I was really going through bad culture shock, and every day my eyes were just very teary. I just wanted to cry all day long. For me, crying is just something I need to do to just, let everything out. Not a lot of people know this, but I almost left in the middle of orientation one of those days to go back up into our hotel room and just cry my eyes out because I was just so unhappy. I really, really wanted to go home. I was just thinking that maybe abroad isn't for me, but turns out, it was. Anyway, I don't really like having the spotlight on me in large crowds and stuff like that. So in this situation, I was this close to just literally leaving. Thank God I was sitting in the back, but I was just so close to just getting up and leaving. Spotlight definitely would have been on me if I did that, because people would have been like, where's she going? Is she coming back? Blah, blah, blah. So I didn't. Decided to stay because something inside me, probably God, was telling me just to stay. You'll want to hear this next thing. He was right. There's a woman. She's a therapist. She works with abroad students. And she came out. She just started making everyone laugh. She was exactly what I needed. Just someone to talk to, not someone who's my age. People back at home who aren't abroad and can't really relate as much. And this is a woman who she just made my day, that day in Rome, 100 times better. I'm taking down this woman's email. I really need to go to her. So I didn't go to her right away, but I think I started going to her, I want to say at the end of February to beginning of March. She has just really, really helped me during my abroad experience, and I am so happy that I met her on our last session together about a week ago. She gave me a piece of paper and a pen, and she was like, here's what I'm going to tell you to write down. So I started writing. I typed it up today. This is the sheet. Basically, it has the categories of who I was before studying abroad, who I am coming home from abroad, 3 things 3 favorite places, 3 successes, 3 challenges, blah, blah, blah. Then the last 2 sentences were to finish these sentences. So first one was what I need to continue to work on to grow ... The next one was studying abroad ... That just really helped me understand who I was before abroad, who I am now. Everyone coming home from abroad, you're a completely different person than you were before you left. I feel like most people still think I'm the same person, which I still am in some ways, but I'm a totally different person in other ways. I mean, you can pause this video and look at it, but I think that this just really, really helped me. I just think that mental health is extremely important while abroad. You have to take care of yourself, body, and your mind. Sometimes we all struggle with that kind of stuff, but it's really important to take care of that. And if you need to go talk to someone, by all means go talk to someone. How I am now, I feel like I'm just a different person. I don't have everything figured out about my career, but took some different steps, and I'm starting to take certain steps now with photography, and I learned a lot about myself. There are some times where I'm like, oh, I really wish I didn't go abroad, but then I think back and I was like, yeah, you do. You do. It was meant to be. You learned a lot. You accomplished a lot. Heck, I painted a David sculpture. Who would have thought? I think that abroad is a really great experience. It doesn't really matter what major you're in. I know a lot of people in my school are nursing majors, and they say oh, I can't go abroad because I'm a nursing major, but that's not true. You can shadow doctors. I've seen ads about it come up on my social medias, even though I'm not a nursing student, just because I went abroad. You can go abroad when you're criminal justice. You can go abroad at any major, really. You just really have to set your mind to it and take certain steps towards that goal. You learn inside the classroom, but you're also learning outside of the classroom. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you do have any suggestions, I do plan on doing a haul about some things that I bought while abroad and some things that I got a few days ago. As you can see, I'm definitely a different person because I have my hair up, but I never have my hair up, but now I don't really mind it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye!